まさか本当にやりやがった藤虎。
まるで仇を取ってくれたみたい。
同じ地位を得てもこんな真似俺にはできねえな。胸が空いたよ。
マフィンありますよ。コーヒー入れます？
腹じゃねえよバカ。
え
How's it going, everybody? We're back again with some more Smoker gameplay here today in OP09 format. This is taken from my locals here, and we're playing against good old Nico Robin. I ended up, I believe, winning the die roll and decided to go first. You gotta really take Robin off first because they will just continue to aggro you down, and you really just cannot afford to take a hit because losing that card advantage just absolutely is devastating. And so taking the play from her makes it a little bit easier for me to potentially just kind of build up a little bit of counter here. Like if my opponent does swing 9k, they swing 9k, whatever. It is what it is, but it definitely slows them down a little bit to, you know, swing into Nico Robin. Pretty insane. All right, we're gonna start with a brand new. We end up swinging 6k. Opponent just takes that there. They slam down a Shirahoshi at the beginning here, and I'm just gonna add an Ice Age to hand. The other two targets are not grabbable, but we do have a Gecko Moria in hand that we got off the rip here, and a pretty decent hand here. Just got one Shirahoshi blocker in the way. Notably, that card cannot be, it can be KO'd, but I don't really want to KO it because it's going to give my opponent a life. So that's probably just going to be sticking on the board for quite a while now. And eventually, and why did I play brand new tapped? Oh my, all right, I'm going to out myself. I've been playing a lot of Union Arena, and I think this was my first locals back playing One Piece in a few weeks. And I played that brand new tapped, and I don't know why I did that. If Nico Robin swings into it, then that's just me just completely being a silly guy. But yeah, if you don't know what Union Arena is, it's another Bandai game, and all your stuff enters in tapped in that game. So if it just cleans up my brand new, I just like offered my brand new as a tribute here. But I think the 6k is gonna go at lead. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that my opponent ramps here. Yeah, it's just gonna go at lead. So ultimately, it didn't really matter that my brand new came and didn't tap. But yeah, hopefully I don't make that mistake anymore this game. That's insane. But happens when you play a lot of card games. I play a lot of different card games, so it's often sometimes your brain gets a little fuzzy and you mix things up. But luckily, wasn't punished for that because that brand new is gonna be a potential swinger here. Just slap 2 Dawn on it, 3 Dawn, and you'll be able to swing 5-6k because you just want to kind of pressure Robin down as much as you can. But here, just kind of thinking a little bit as to what I want to do. I do have a Sabo in hand as a potential way to just cycle some cards here. My hand is pretty solid though, but I'm missing a very valuable resource in this matchup, and that's 2Ks. So it's likely that I'm going to get to a point where I'm just going to have to take a hit here. And I really don't want to do that. But we're going to play the Sabo out, see if Sabo can find us some pretty cool cards off the top of the deck here. We're going to draw 2. We end up picking up a 2K here, so definitely going to get rid of something else. The Brook in hand, got 2 of those. With the Gecko Moria already in the yard, or already in hand, a Rebecca in the yard, that Brook and brand new will be great targets there. And we're just going to pass back to my opponent here. So we do have the possibility of blocking with Sabo and using a 2K to get out of a 7K swing. Opponent ramped that turn, the turn before, so went up to 5, now up to 7 Dawn here. And just going to start with the Nico Robin. Nico Robin, pretty popular to play when they hit 6 Dawn. So that Jack is out of here. And opponent's actually going to play a Nico Olivia here, so kind of invalidating my Sabo plan. Going to be swinging 8k here, and I just do not have the counter power. I do pull 4k counter to the front of my hand, but I just should not be doing that at this point. I could offer the Brook as a sacrifice, but I think I might just have to take it here. Oh, nope. All right, we're going to offer it up as a sacrifice. Because we have that Moria in hand, we're really just leaning on that Moria at this point. So, you know, fine card to have. 3 Brooks in yard already. Opponent hasn't really given me a whole lot of great targets to KO here, and we are coming up. We're on our 7 Dawn turn right now, so that Nico Robin we can clean up pretty well. We're going to have to commit a few resources. That Tashigi with the leader abilities is only going to KO a 5 cost or less, or trash a 5 cost or less. So we're going to need a little bit of extra help in hand. We do have a suitor in hand, but I really don't want to use the suitor right now. So we might be having a play where we just use the Ice Age or just potentially save it for a bigger threat. And one of the things that Nico Robin does is she'll just kind of ramp up pretty high and then just slam down Yamatos and Aces and 9 Moms. So we're going to see here what we end up doing. We're going to go ahead and activate. We are going to -4 here. reducing it down to 2. I think we're just going to use the Ice Age here and just try to get rid of a threat, because Nico Robin very good at turning things sideways. Oh, okay. Using the Tsuru here, just completely giving up the counter in hand to save the Ice Age for a potential next turn here, because we'll be on 9 Dawn, we'll be able to Gecko Moria and Ice Age to potentially KO like another 6 if they slam down another Nico Robin. We're able to sequence things so we get the plus 1k on Smoker, and we're going to swing 7k at lead. And opponent's just going to take it, ends up triggering a Dereshi off the top of life, allowing them to just cycle a card. Then I'm going to swing a 6k with Sabo, and they're just going to counter out of it with a 2k. Sabo, I pretty much have given up my 4th life here. No counter in hand. I use my blocker because I just want to continue to pressure Robin. Once they kind of stabilize at 10 Dawn, the game gets a whole lot harder. Opponent's going to play a Uso Hachi here, and gonna rest down like my Tashigi here, be a potential thing that they might swing into. I think they ended up making a potential misplay, if I remember this game correctly. They played the Uso Hachi to rest my Sabo because they were just like on thinking that I wasn't gonna swing with the Sabo, and just not just being on autopilot here, just assuming they needed to rest the blocker just to get damage through. But they end up resting the Tashigi here, so potentially could have a pretty sizable swing into Tashigi, could have a sizable swing into Sabo, or it could just go at my face here. Definitely potentially cleaning up board might be worth it here, but it ends up just going at my face here and ripping an Ice Age off the top. Another good card I would have loved to have in hand, but we've already got one. So opponent did not play a big drop here. They were on the 10 Dawn, so unfortunately maybe keeping them at 2 robbed them of playing a Yamato here. Yamato would have still been able to KO something on my board, right? But that wouldn't have gained them a life. So sometimes definitely you're gonna have to make a decision. Is the Yamato more important for KOing something, or is it just better to hold it to gain a life? But I have some plays. I think I'll probably just still lean into the Gecko. I can clean up a few things potentially, but I mean, I could just like clean up the Usohachi, but there's just not a lot of targets on board right now that I care about. So instead, we're just going to pivot off of Gecko Moria. We're just going to play a Tashigi here, and we're just going to go for a so we're going to -4 on the Shirahoshi. One of the great things about Tashigi is Tashigi trashes, and trashing gets around the KO effect from Shirahoshi, so Shirahoshi does not gain them a life here. I just quickly rereading the card to check, make sure that works the way it does, and it does. So no life off of the Shirahoshi. They don't have a blocker now, and I can swing likely 7k, like 8k, 7k, 7k potentially here. 1 Dawn is up, so can definitely know that maybe a Gum Gum Giant could be coming at this point, as that is something Robin runs. I mean, why wouldn't you run that card? That card is fantastic. One of like the most strongest cards like incidentally in the game right now that's locked to a few leaders, but who knows when OP09 comes out with blue purple Luffy, if that card might push it over the edge here. But opponent's just gonna give me an 8k counter or 3k counter to take themselves up to 8k off of the swing here, and I think we're just going to swing 8k with Sabo, just trying to set opponent down to 0, and opponent has to go to 0 here. So this next turn is a big drop or bust. They really need to gain a life at this point, and they end up hitting a trigger. They trigger and KO the Sabo. Sabo, while it is tapped in this situation, does become a potential problem later in the game if you just don't deal with it, because I can choose to stop attacking with it, right? I can just turn it into a blocker. But in this early game, I'm definitely just getting aggressive with it because I want Nico Robin to be at 0 as quick as possible. And opponent's thinking the turn. The fact that they haven't immediately slammed down something huge gives me a little bit of grace here, and they pick up 8. They pick up 8 Dawn here. 8 Dawn could potentially be a Katakuri, but I don't even think maybe Nico Robin doesn't run it. No, it looks like we're just going heavy here. Just going to be slapping some Dom on, and I'm just going to take that hit because I have no counter in hand. Opponent's seeing an opportunity to potentially knock me down to 1 here, but this is a really hard spot for my opponent to be in here. And just another swing with Nico Robin, and I laugh because that is 4 Brooks in the yard now. All 4 of my Brooks have been found. If this was like a Zoro matchup, I'd be living the dream here with a potential Rebecca. But just gonna go ahead and pass back to me here, and I'm in like a pretty good spot, but my opponent does have 2 Dawn up, which could be representing potentially 2 Gum Gum Giants, which means they're likely surviving this turn. But I've played Robin before. I know setting yourself down to 8 Dawn is just no bueno for Robin. So if I can get my opponent to potentially show me both Gum Gum Giants, I know that they're not going to have a healing out on the next turn, right? Unless they run a Katakuri, which most Robin decks don't run Katakuri, but this one potentially could here. Katakuri would be a pretty solid play, just to put one of their triggers back on life, to get a little bit of advantage. But just kind of thinking here what I want to do, and yeah, could definitely just swing 9Ks. I think 9Ks is the plan. We could go 9K Toshigi, 9K Toshigi. We're going to start with the leader swing here first. I think we're not even going to use any of our Dawn to play anything out. There's no reason to establish a Gekko Morio right now, because I feel like I'm going to be able to survive this. We do have 4 Dawn aside. I think what we're going to do here is just swing 9K, or swing 10K. We're going to get a Gum Gum Giant out of them. And then likely I'm just going to swing an 8K here with one of my Toshigis and maybe poke with a 6. Because I want to leave that 4 Dawn up for the Borsalino I pulled in the hand drew for this turn. So actually, no, we're going to go 7K. So 7K lead. It's going to force 2 cards out of my opponent's hand. But they do not have 2 cards to give me. So instead, they're going to be Gum Gum Gianting again. Kind of falling right into my trap of potentially cutting them down to 8 Dawn. You can see they had a Linlin in hand. Might have just picked that up off the first Gum Gum Giant. So now if they draw something to potentially heal them, it's going to be locked at 9 Dawn, and they're just not going to have enough. We're going to go 7K again here. Opponent's going to show me a 2K, 1K, and then we're going to use the other 4 to set up a Borsalino, pretty much ensuring that we can survive on this next turn if my opponent decides to start setting everything sideways. But my opponent does not have a whole lot of threats here. I'm going to send 3K into their 3K Usohachi just to try to check them for another card in hand. They used a whole lot of resources, and I think they only have like 2 cards in hand, so the odds of them not protecting it get quite a bit higher, and definitely ensure that I'll be able to lead to victory on the next turn. But yeah, I was just counting like, oh yeah, you've used two Gum Gum Giants this turn, so no 9 Dawn for you. Gonna be stuck on 8 Dawn here, and that's kind of one of the weaknesses with Nico Robin is you typically only want to Gum Gum once. Once you Gum Gum twice, things get a whole lot harder for you. And if you're running the build that runs the Rush Luffy, if you Rush Luffy and Gum Gum in the same turn, you're going to set yourself down to 9 Dawn on the following turn, which is also pretty rough. I think Robin really excels at 10 Dawn because you can usually play a 9-drop and hold up Gum Gum. But once you go to 9 or 8, life gets a whole lot harder for you here. Opponent just played a Clover out, grabbed, I think that was an Onami, or grabbed something off the top. Just gonna play the Onami out because they don't have a whole lot to do here. They just kind of have to swing out at this point and just hope they can go for it. But I'm just gonna counter out of the first one. Opponent swing, or I think the first one just got what even happened? I think I blocked with Porcelain. I don't even know what I did here. But I think I don't even know. This is what happens when I'm watching this. But anyways, this game is pretty much cleaned up. I'm just going to swing 10K with Suru. Full disrespect. They showed me they had a Yamato in hand, which kind of fell right into my plan of double Gum Gum Giant takes you to 8. And that's going to end the game here. Able to clean it up. Robin is kind of a difficult matchup if they start to see all their boss monsters, because they have a little more resilience. And they take a whole lot of life from you. But was able to keep the pressure going. Opponent did not see a lot of their high drops. But yeah, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.